So lads, this was a huge announcement by Unrivaled, and this is something that is very interesting. Angel Reese is another player who is not currently on the Unrivaled list.
Ever wonder what happens when the drama starts outweighing the game? Unrivaled has quietly ended its partnership with Angel Reese, and if you were paying attention, the warning signs were always there. The mounting technical fouls, costly turnovers, underwhelming rebounding, and a no-show during the playoffs. The same league that once handed her the spotlight has now decided the chaos just isn't worth the clicks. Angel, who once claimed to bring unmatched energy to every team, may have finally burnt one too many bridges. Sources close to the situation say Unrivaled hasn't forgotten her absence during the critical postseason stretch. This isn't about contract negotiations or scheduling conflicts. It's a quiet breakup disguised as a roster move. Though how did Angel Reese go from being the face of Unrivaled to being phased out of the league altogether? Was this the right call by Unrivaled? Drop your thoughts in the comments.
Angel Reese, 3-on-3, part 10, let's get up!
Hope you have window insurance.
Bang!
Not sure if I've ever seen her pass the ball. Let's see if it happens on this possession. Reese goes to her patented dipsy-doo. Let's see it. No!
Bang!
Oh, there it is. That's a pass, and it's picked off going the other way.
Oh, they fumble it back. Green team time!
Sidestep, 3-ball, butter pecan.
Bang!
Reese's pump with the rebound.
Chitty, chitty, bang, bang!
You'll need to find something you love as much as Angel Reese loves her mid-range. Beautiful.
Bang!
When Unrivaled dropped its Season 2 roster, Angel Reese's absence said more than any official statement could. Once the centerpiece of league promotions, her name on posters, her face in every campaign, she was suddenly nowhere to be found. No injury report, no press release, just silence. Fans were quick to notice, questioning whether it was a simple oversight or a deliberate move. And honestly, with her recent track record, it might have been a bit of both. The same player who once called herself the first ever Unrivaled champion has now vanished from the very league she helped put on the map. Unrivaled once celebrated her as the face of fierce competition. Now, it seems they've decided that's a face they no longer want representing them.
I had no idea that Angel Reese didn't even bother to show up. Did not show up to support her teammates. It was that unimportant, but yet took a victory lap that you won a championship? You got to be joking.
Angel Reese beating her shit. What y'all gonna say now? Now that I have this Unrivaled championship that I didn't even think to attend.
Angel Reese entered Unrivaled's inaugural season like she had a point to prove. She spoke about changing the game and bringing swagger to women's basketball. And early on, she delivered big stat lines, electric crowd reactions, and interviews that painted her as unstoppable. But as the season wore on, that confidence started to blur into distraction. Beneath the highlights was a pattern, mounting turnovers, repeated technical fouls, and body language that suggested she was playing more for the cameras than for her teammates. According to reports, that attitude didn't go unnoticed in the locker room. Teammates were reportedly frustrated by her focus, not just on the court, but off it. While the playoff race intensified, Reese was still podcasting and curating her social media presence. That IT raised a serious question. Was her head in the game, or lost in the comment section?
Championship game was so unimportant. She's like, nah, I'm good. I'll watch from home. I'll watch this stream from home, and I'll FaceTime in if we win.
This league has got to figure out a way to honor Angel Reese in all this. That's
When the Unrivaled playoffs tipped off, Angel Reese was nowhere to be found. Instead of suiting up for the biggest games of the season, she sat them out, and fans watched her celebrate from behind a phone screen rather than on the court. Her team pushed forward without her, while Reese appeared on FaceTime like a distant spectator rather than a leader. For someone who proudly called herself a champion, the timing couldn't have been worse. From the outside, it didn't look like rest, it looked like retreat. That moment left a mark, shaping a reputation that's followed her into every locker room since. Unreliable when it matters most, and the concern didn't stop with Unrivaled. Over in the WNBA, the Chicago Sky reportedly saw the same troubling pattern. Reese's rookie season ended with a wrist injury, and her sophomore year was cut short due to back issues. But just weeks later, she was back in the public eye. Not on the court, but at brand shoots, social events, and appearances that didn't seem to require much rehab.
There's nobody in the world better at chasing down their own block shot than Angel Reese. One door closes, another opens. Look at that.
Bang!
Time to put respect on Angel Reese positioning under the basket. Look at the leverage she gets. Brianna Stewart, you're locked and loaded, girl. Rebound, Lexi Hole. Look at the seal out by Reese. What an opening. Easy layup. Bang! Bang! How about we finish off with some free throws? Flick of that wrist, bounce that ball. Flickety, flickety, boogity, bop.
Tension reportedly began to build within the Chicago Sky organization when Angel Reese's injuries seemed to conveniently resolve once the spotlight shifted elsewhere. Coaches began to quietly question her focus, while teammates were left uncertain, never sure whether she'd show up ready to compete or disappear mid-season again. And in professional sports, patterns like that tend to stick. Talent can only take a player so far, especially when it starts to seem like their dedication disappears the moment accountability arrives. Be why her sophomore year. Reese's early exits had become more than isolated incidents. They were becoming a habit. And that habit began to overshadow anything she was doing on the stat sheet. Even Unrivaled, a league built just as much on personality as performance, started to question whether the personality was more trouble than it was worth. Inside league circles, the whispers grew louder. There was no dramatic fallout, no viral announcement, just quiet decisions being made behind closed doors as Unrivaled prepared for Season 2. Leadership wanted one thing: stability. And an unpredictable star didn't align with that vision. Sources say execs noticed a shift. When Angel Reese's name trended, it was rarely for her play. It was for off-court headlines, controversies, or distractions. The optics were starting to turn. Sponsors hesitated. Players rolled their eyes. And the league's image began to suffer under drama it never asked for. In the end, the simplest solution turned out to be the most brutal one: leave her off the roster.
You just never know. You just never know with all the shit that's going on right now with the Chicago Sky, with all the shit that's going on with
Unrivaled didn't need a press release to make its decision clear. They simply left Angel Reese's name off the Season 2 roster and let the silence speak volumes. No official statement, no farewell post, just absence. If fans were hoping for closure, they weren't getting it from the league. And that in itself was the message. This time, Unrivaled wasn't waiting for Reese to walk away. They quietly locked the door behind her. The same athlete who once positioned herself as the face of a movement now stands as a cautionary tale. Because at the heart of it all is a simple truth. How can you lead a team when your reputation is built on leaving them behind? Her removal signals more than personal fallout. It marks a shift in the culture of women's basketball. A moment where charisma without commitment no longer cuts it. For years, social media stardom blurred the lines between influence and impact. But Unrivaled just drew a hard line. Performance matters more than followers. Around the league, other players are stepping up, bringing consistency, professionalism, and leadership to the floor. And in doing so, they're redefining what the modern face of women's hoops looks like. Unrivaled made it clear: no amount of noise can drown out the new standard. Ironically, it wasn't always like this. The league once treated Angel Reese like its crown jewel. Her name headlined every promo. Her reactions filled every clip. Her highlights led every reel. At the height of the hype, Unrivaled flooded social media with her content, racking up over 31 million views across platforms. For a moment, it worked. Reese was trending. The league was buzzing, but the honeymoon didn't last. TV viewership plummeted after opening weekend, down to roughly 100,000 viewers per game, a 2/3 drop. The memes stuck around. The fans didn't. You could scroll endlessly through clips of Reese trash-talking or high-stepping after missed shots. But the same users fueling comment sections weren't tuning in for tip-off. Unrivaled's analytics team saw it clearly. Virality without loyalty. The clicks came in waves, but they didn't translate to ticket sales, viewership, or sponsor confidence. The storm made noise, but it didn't build anything lasting. When Angel Reese's name was left off Unrivaled Season 2 roster, there was no press release, no formal goodbye, just silence. And that silence spoke volumes. The same player who once declared herself the face of the league, the first ever Unrivaled champion, was gone. No explanation, no statement, no spotlight. The message? Clear. This time, Unrivaled didn't wait for Reese to walk away. They quietly locked the door behind her. What started as a bold new chapter in women's basketball, full of swagger, drama, and viral moments turned into a cautionary tale. The rise and fall Reese entered, unrivaled with something to prove. She brought energy, big stats, and a whole lot of personality. She called herself unstoppable, and for a moment the league agreed. Unrivaled made her the centerpiece. Every promo, every clip, every highlight package started with her. She was everywhere online, racking up over 31 million views across platforms. But after the buzz came the buzz.tv ratings tanked after opening weekend. Viewership dropped to 100,000 per game, a two-thirds collapse. The meme stuck around. The fans didn't. Unrivaled's marketing team saw the pattern. Virality without loyalty. People showed up for the drama, not the basketball. And when the game stopped being about competition and started being about controversy, they tuned out entirely. Behind the scenes internally, the tone shifted fast. League executives, once proudly promoting Reese, started asking harder questions. Does this attention help us grow? Or is it just noise? Are we building a brand or burning one down? Sponsors noticed the same trend. Each outburst, each feud, made it harder to sell women's basketball as a clean, empowering product. The headlines weren't about highlights anymore. They were about who Angel Reese had called out that week. Her villain arc? Predictable. Her behavior? Increasingly risky. And the return on investment? Shrinking. Despite all the clicks, ticket sales stayed flat. Brand deals got shaky. Behind closed doors, the term diminishing returns started to float around. Eventually, the cost of keeping Reese around outweighed the benefits. Her unpredictability was expensive, not just in dollars, but in reputation. Strategic silence. So when Unrivaled dropped its Season 2 roster without Reese's name, insiders called it strategic silence. No public drama. No messy press cycle. Just a quiet reset. Less gossip. More gameplay. It was the league's way of saying, we're moving on. And sponsors reportedly breathed a sigh of relief. Investors liked the shift. They saw leadership choosing credibility over controversy. Unrivaled had treated Reese like its crown jewel. But in the end, she became an expensive lesson in influencer overreach. The Caitlin Clark contrast. While Angel Reese leaned into persona and provocation, another star was quietly building something entirely different, Caitlin Clark. Where Reese clashed with teammates, Clark empowered hers. Where Reese curated chaos, Clark cultivated consistency. She didn't need drama to trend. She let her game speak, with vision, timing, unselfishness, and most of all, results. Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever became the blueprint for what modern women's basketball could look like. Not just talented, connected, her presence elevated everyone. Aaliyah Boston found more space to dominate the paint. Lexi Hull regained confidence from Clark's precision passing. Kelsey Mitchell thrived without needing to force the offense. Sophie Cunningham added toughness without being overshadowed. All of it flowed from Clark's quiet leadership, built on trust, repetition, and control. No finger pointing, no highlight chasing, just winning basketball. Coaches rave about her game IQ. Teammates rally behind her. And fans, they show up in droves. Attendance skyrocketed. Fever merch sales soared. Media outlets fought for broadcast rights that in just 2 seasons, Clark built what most franchises take a decade to create. Identity, culture, and trust. The shift has arrived. Compare that to Chicago, a franchise that keeps starting over, chasing a fresh identity every offseason. That instability? It's followed Reese at every stop, and now the WNBA and Unrivaled alike are making it clear. They're done chasing chaos. The league's direction has shifted, firmly toward athletes who treat the court like a workplace and their teammates like partners, not props. Clark doesn't preach professionalism. She models it. In her decisions, her playmaking, her humility. This is the new standard. And Reese? Her brand of drama-driven leadership has a ceiling, one the fans reached before the league did. The numbers tell the story. Unrivaled's clicks didn't turn into loyalty. Reese's noise didn't build sustainable growth. Sponsors want stability, not spectacle. The big picture Unrivaled cutting Reese wasn't just about one player. It was a turning point. A declaration. This league is about performance, not personality wars. It's about commitment, not clicks. It's about building teams, not trending alone. And right now, it's players like Caitlin Clark with patience, poise, and production who are writing the next chapter. Reese made headlines, Clark builds highlights, point one draws attention. The other builds loyalty, unrivaled choice. And so do the fans. Do you think Unrivaled made the right call cutting ties with Angel Reese? Let us know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss what's next. And click the video on screen for more deep dives into the evolving world of women's basketball.